Hello, hello, hello. I am 58 now. Okay, the baby dog and I are making a video together. That is nice. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So we got grounded today already, and Paul bought me ta-ta, a mop and a bucket so that I can clean the house for my birthday. He does those kind of things, He's a practical man. He doesn't buy a woman flowers or candy or jewelry or roses or whatever. Blue roses and diamond rings on platinum. No, he does not do that. He buys Lip Man turbine mop and a bucket. That's your birthday present. No, he bought me other stuff too. He buys me stuff all the time, but I didn't even want anything for my birthday, so that's just like any other day, It's like that's why I don't celebrate birthdays anymore. So my brother's birthday is 3 days after mine. So today's my birthday. My brother's birthday is in 3 days, and he is going to be 55. So we're getting older. Yes, we are getting older. I remember when he was 5 and I was 10. Okay. That was in 1975. That was a long time ago. 1975, I should have, if I had the knowledge of today in 1975, which is absolutely not, that could never be possible, first of all, because your brain isn't even developed completely up until I think 25. So that's when the brain is completely, the different hemispheres, the two hemispheres have closed the gap, and when you start to do different type of thinking, abstract reasoning, abstract thinking, and so on. So at age 10, I was not able to reflect over all of these things, obviously, but I always make these thoughts experiments, and I wonder if I could go back in time, if I could, the way I am now, I go into a time machine, I come back out in my bedroom in the evening after my parents had gone to bed, and I sneak up to my little self and I say, shh, don't scream. I'm not your grandmother. I am you in 50 years. Okay, no, almost 50 years. So yes, I am you in 47 years, 48 years. 48. My math is not very good. So I am you in 48 years. I came here in a time capsule, which doesn't make any sense. I don't even watch sci-fi films that play with time, because it doesn't make sense to me. So how we can, if that was possible, then everything would be total chaos. So there wouldn't be any consistency whatsoever in anything in it. There wouldn't even be a timeline. Time wouldn't even exist then, So, but time exists here on this earth, and obviously, so this doesn't interfere with another dimension. And if it would, then everything gets jumbled up completely. I mean, everything would, I think, would fragment into different bits and pieces. That's why a lot of people think that we're actually living in a simulation. But those are just thought experiments that I go through because of my emotional pain. And can you not touch the chair to my artwork, please? Yeah, thank you. So he's always getting way too close to my alien spaceship one, and then he's leaning back, and then the back of the chair gets too close to my artwork and all of that. So I'm very peculiar and particular about this. Also over there, when he makes the couch, he bangs stuff against my artwork. One can even see that the lower part is already getting smudged. So, and I can never make the same color green again. So it's gonna be different green, and I'm gonna have to paint the entire lower part with a different green, and I didn't want to have to do this, and then it looks slightly different to the other painting that belongs to this one. So I already had to do this several times because of Paul. He would walk around with some kind of like a sawzall or a ladder, and oops, the back of that just happened to bang against it. Oh, wait a minute. It's not a problem. Yes, it is. It is a problem when my artwork gets banged up and there are holes in it and the paint chips off. It is a problem for me. But obviously, he doesn't take this very serious. He likes my artwork, but it's like, heck, it's just like the wall. It doesn't hold any specific, if something bangs against, whatever, I'll fix it. No, you can't fix it that easily with modern art like this. So, but all of these things are very irritating, to say the least. And yesterday I was on the lawn when we came back to this house. We have been going on each other's nerves. And I was crying and crying and crying because I was so exhausted and so annoyed, and I didn't know what to do. How do I manage my life? I broke free from my parents, but I'm dependent on this gnarly gnome sorcerer Petrosilius Zwackelmann, and no matter what I try, no matter how many paths I try to get out of his castle's compound, I find my way. I find myself walking right back towards his castle. So that's what this fairy tale is about, and that is very synonymous to this lifestyle here. Yes, I tried many times, and here I was, hiking back to Petrosius Zwackelmann's castle. What am I doing? I must be in some kind of alternate reality or something. But if I was in an alternate reality, if there is something like another Earth, like the filmmaker Britt Marling created with her friend together, her friend Mike, they created this amazing film. And I have not watched the whole film, only video clips out of it. I can't afford to pay for movies. That's really movies are really the last thing on my mind. We want to save money up to get a wonderful desert land and create greenhouses and grow our own food. So that's the plan for the future. And I deeply wish for this. And for that, we have to really be conservative with our money, with our budget. And I do my part now on this. Paul taught me how to be frugal with my money. And he taught me to organize my wallet. Yes. And so if there was another Earth out there, and there could be, because there could be literally endless possibilities out there, and just for the fact that it is infinite. So infinity, and that holds infinite possibilities for us to explore. Things that could already be there, things that may come into existence, and then, according to Esther Hicks, things come into existence or into alignment because we bring it into existence through our willpower. Okay, so things are not written in concrete, so there's no linearity at all. There's no finality. It's endless, and it is warped, and it is curved, and it has loopholes and wormholes and different dimensions and all kinds of stuff that's out there. So, the possibility that another Earth will show up in our periphery, like in that movie, the chance for that is even slimmer than the alien spaceship landing down there on our parking lot. So, but, making an alien spaceship out of packaging materials, that is not going against the odds. So that is something every single person can do, and I want you to do this, Sandy and the Mafia Man and all of them. I don't call him Zane anymore or Philip Jones. I'm gonna call this man Mafia Man from now on, because that's what he is. That's one and the same thing. That is the brainchild of the mafia. And he too could, if he wanted to, he could get packaging materials and make an alien spaceship out of it with paint from the hardware store. I already explained this in detail, how to do it. You can do it, and then you don't have to, for one day as you're making the alien spaceship, you don't have to work for the mafia. You're exempt for that one day, okay? And you can make something happen. You can make a video. You don't have to show yourself. I know you don't want to show yourself, but you can show your alien spaceship that you made. And I don't care if you pour red paint all over it and make it look like blood, because that's what your mind state is in. Your brain is acidic, okay? So I take that into account. If there is a cut off arm on top of your alien spaceship in form of Play-Doh and some red paint, I'm okay with that. That's, as long as you don't put suffering on it, as long as you don't put a dead animal on that, or animal material, carcass material, I'm all cool with it. So that's your expression, that's where your mind, that's where your brain is at. And there is chaos in your brain, there's pain, there's suffering, there's fear. fear of not being in charge, all the time, particularly if a woman is more in charge than you. That's really, really, really scary. So I see where you are at. So I'm aiming towards this in this video, but before I get into that, the actual subject of this video, the psychology of pedophilia. Okay. You all know what that word means. Okay, so if you don't, you look it up on Google. ChatGPT is gonna explain that brilliantly to you. I'm also gonna get into ChatGPT in a moment. So, but, if there is another Earth, the chances are very unlikely that we make contact with that, but, if there... It's not if there is infinity. Okay, since there is infinity, there are identical Earths out there in infinite amounts too, and there are also Earths that are almost identical. Maybe the Mandela effect will come in with those, okay? And so maybe in some of them Mandela was still in prison, or that monkey on the cookie jar has nothing in his hands, or so, whatever these people have observed out there. Or in another alternate reality, you don't have that expensive bicycle treadmill machine. Okay, it's just not there. So everything else is there except for that expensive bicycle machine, But in this one, the bicycle machine is there. So, okay. In another one, my hair is fully straight and white by nature, which is not the case in this lifetime. Okay, my hair has very thick curls and is almost black, okay, by nature. The reason why I have started bleaching my hair, because my hair got gray and I don't like the way it looks. And I used to color my hair with henna, but then I read that some of the henna has lead in it, and then I discovered that I can do it even better with diluted hydrogen peroxide, and looks even better than that. So, and costs almost nothing. So, and it's better for the environment. It doesn't have lead in it. So these are all learning experiences, right? But in an alternate reality, I could be an albino. I could have white hair and really light blue eyes or red eyes and white eyebrows and eyelashes and straight hair, spaghetti hair, which I like. So these possibilities are endless. The baby dog, he could be blue or larger or smaller or wider or longer or this or that, or we could, instead of the dogs we have here on Earth, which is a wide variety already, but there could be one breed that looks like an oversized European Basset Hound without hair and with light blue skin. Okay, so no, and then nobody thinks anything of that. That's just another breed, right? That's the blue god breed. Everyone knows that's the blue god breed. So, are you kidding me? You don't know the blue god breed? That breed comes originally from the European Basset Hound and from the Molosser dogs and the Brazilian Mastiff. So, crossbred many times, and then finally they got it right. The legs really, really thick, like 4x4 beams, and humongous feet like a lion. and as big as a lion. No hair, and the ears are also like even longer, going all the way to the ground. So, yeah. But if we saw this suddenly, this dog, everyone would come out of every store there is. If you walk a dog like this on a chest harness past the Ralph Lauren store, everyone in the Ralph Lauren store who has been told, to every guard person there, right, who has been told, you must be on guard at all times. This is Rodeo Drive, LA. You cannot, they will all come running out. Like, what kind of, wait a minute, they're not even going to ask what kind of dog breed that is. They're gonna say, is this an alien from out of space? What kind of animal is this? What species is this? No. So, but in an alternate reality, this is the norm. Okay, yeah. So, that was a little lecture on the relativity of norm and normation. What is normal? Normal is that what people are used to. Okay. And they think that is also the ideal. They think the norm is the ideal. That's what I observe in people. My parents, everyone. My mother always saying, I am so normal, and you and Annalise are so crazy. Oh, yeah, I had to tell Annalise that. We had to laugh about this. And of course that pissed Annalise off, but she shrugs it off because that's not such a big deal. Because obviously for Annalise, the norm of Marlies is not our ideal. That is obvious. Absolutely, totally. We're not like, the denial type of function. So we don't go into denial. We don't say, oh, if I have a hot boyfriend and someone says, don't you worry that he might cheat on you, I will say, if I find out that he does, I'm going to cry rivers for a whole week, right? Well, I'm not going to hit him over the head with a brick because of that. But my mother, she will say, what I don't know doesn't bother me. Okay. Well, that's the denial brain. Okay. So Annalise and I, we don't function like this. We cry things out and we talk things through with people. At least we're trying to be on board with reality and truth. So reality and truth, that subject goes way deeper. If you watch Jiddu Krishnamurti's videos, he gets into that. There is a distinction between reality and truth, and that also goes a bit into what I'm talking about when it comes to norm or reality or linearity. So obviously there's no linearity in reality, is warped. Okay. And things can be reinvented on a daily basis, and we can rewrite the future at any time. So it's what Tony Robbins said. The way you live and the way you handle things today is how you shape your future. Okay. So if things don't work out, change your approach. That's what Tony Robbins said. Very, very wise words. They sound like infomercial. Yeah, everyone knows that, but not everyone applies it, right? So I think people should write this on a paper and hang it on the wall. They really should. If a mafia man, if his approach to dating is not working out, I mean, every child can see that, right? Every dog can see that and recognize that. So then maybe he should change his approach to dating, right? Maybe he shouldn't kill the woman then. Maybe that would be better. I don't know. You figure it out. I'll let you meditate on this. I don't even know why one has to explain these things to people. I mean, shouldn't this go without saying it? I don't know. It should. But anyway, I am working on myself. I am going into my own mental illness every day. I meditate. I go into meditation. I cry things out. I come clean with reality and truth. Okay. And I decided I do not want drama in my life anymore. I don't want to suffer anymore. I don't want to recreate my past with my grandfather mocking me all the time, or the school boys in my class mocking me all the time. I am their garbage dumpster. Also, no, I don't want to live like this anymore. I really don't want to live like this anymore, with hierarchies and the shame and the pride of people and the mocking and all of it. No, that's not my reality. That's not my world. My world is peaceful. In my world, there is no hierarchy. There is no rank. There is no pecking order. In my world, there is modern art and love and motherhood, the mother of all living beings. There is dog love. Dog is God. Dog God, and dog is love. Okay, so that's my world. And my world is non-linear. And my world is cool and awesome and nice. And that is what every inner child wants. Okay, and I'm going to get into this in a minute regarding the pedophilia. When I talk to Paul about this subject, there's only one thing he will say. And that is, it's genetic, end of story. Let's close the file. And we don't need to even talk about it, but he continues to talk about it. You bet. He will continue to talk about this for the next 4 hours, unless I have to go to the bathroom, or he has to go to the bathroom, or something. Or I have to eat an egg sandwich because I'm getting hungry now. All of this complaining and complaining and complaining and beating the drum on the human species when there's nothing he can do about it. Okay, so obviously, yes, it's not completely untrue. It is genetic, but there's way more than genetics, and genetics is way more than genetics itself. Okay. That's the tricky thing. Here comes the non-linearity into play, which someone like Paul would never accept. Okay, for Paul it's linear and it's finite. So I'm very surprised that when I have been talking to him about infinity, that he accepts infinity. You know, most people I talk to don't accept infinity. So I mean, that's kind of like a child closing the eyes and saying, now you can't see me anymore. Or I can't see past this tree because someone put a wall there or whatever, you know. Now there is nothing past that wall, right? I mean, that's the same logistics. With someone who is like fundamentalist Christian or Muslim and says, no, there is no infinity. Obviously, there was the beginning, but then I have to ask, what's before that wall? Okay, let's find out. What's before that beginning? Okay, and is that really the beginning? Was that the beginning? And is this even true? You know, so Yeah, the sun is our sort of a god, If you want to call that a god, I'm okay with that. The sun is our life giver. You should all be on board with solar power, but most Muslims are not. So, and the reason why is, it would be so easy to get them on board with that. But hey, that religion and the Christian religion and the Catholic, for me, Christian is Catholic. Okay, I don't care what people say. Mormon, all of that draws, that's all falls for me into the same drawer, into the same file. Christian genre, okay, all of these codes and all of that, children of God, whatever the forgot now these names, these bombers and all of these people, everyone who says he's Jesus, all of that falls into that category for me, the category Christian genre, okay? And then we have the other category, Muslim. Most of these things come from the Abrahamic mind state and scriptures, the ancient, like the Old Testament, which is absolutely barbaric and brutal and cruel and awful, and that should be outlawed, all of this, but it's not, because most people adhere to this. But here's why they don't get the Muslims on board with solar power, even though their sun, Allah is the sun, or the sun is their center, and the sun is the center of our solar system. But then it goes on beyond that. The sun doesn't care about that. Okay, so the reason why they don't create this is because the corporate agenda doesn't want that to happen. So the corporate agenda, which is the mafia, that's just the over-the-counter mafia. That's all it is. It's one and the same thing. We have the under-the-desk mafia, and we have the over-the-desk mafia. The stuff that is socially acceptable and accepted. So it's both one and the same thing, and the corruption is hideous in the underground and in the overground. So it doesn't matter really anymore. I don't see any difference at all. So all of this is in it. The Eli Lilly, the pharma industry, the drug cartels, all of this is like this is one unit. Okay. And people need to be aware about it. So, and they run everything on this whole planet. They run everything behind closed doors, backroom deals. Corporate chess moves are being carefully scripted out. Barack Obama was particularly chosen to run against Hillary Clinton just so that Hillary Clinton wouldn't become president, because she would have stood against the mafia. Okay. Donald Trump stands against the mafia. That's why they are trying to get him in prison with some total ridiculous bullshit, which is not even true in the first place. The fact that Joe Biden has committed treason against the United States, let's ignore that, right? Whatever you have been fed, you believe. Okay. The corporate media will tell you what to believe, and you believe it, hook, line, and sinker. That's what's very, very alarming. That situation that gives the mafia the power. If you questioned that, they wouldn't have that power. They wouldn't have that leverage worldwide in the first place. But you, the individual religious fanatic, give them the power by being fanatically religious, by sucking up that scam of their conditioning that they have done with people particularly with the fundamentalists. I know because we had a realtor. I like him very much, but he is desperately brainwashed to the core that I don't even know if I can reach him or could reach him. Okay, he's also a minister. I mean, so when I talked about solar power, he immediately jumped up. We had him over for tea once, and he would say, yeah, that's real evil, and because that's what he has been told. Okay, so he believes that. It's like, why is that evil? No. Is love evil? No. Is caring about the planet evil? No. Is protecting our planet and our atmosphere evil? No. Is clean energy evil? No. Is solar energy evil? No, it's not. It's the most fantastic energy source there is. This is the safest of all. Okay. So, Nikola Tesla, which is Elon Musk's former incarnation, that's a real tragic story of Nikola Tesla. I heard he actually got this information from outer galactic civilizations. But, I can't prove it, obviously, but I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case, because he was able to figure out a complete, direct, immediate energy source that's endless. And according to him, that didn't hurt anyone. So it's hard to imagine, Friedrich Nietzsche had his doubts about that they were about at the same time. In the late 1800s, Friedrich Nietzsche heard about it and he was like, oh, scary. I don't know, that is so good. But he didn't know anything about it, obviously. So maybe it was safe. But then Thomas Edison and other people and the corporate agenda that had already been playing around, had already its fangs, its claws into everything. So not like we have it today, but pretty much so. Particularly when it comes to government and electricity. So because so much money can be made with that, they don't want to give up that monopoly, obviously. So someone invents free electricity, that would pull the rug out from under their feet, right? That would bring the electric companies to a collapse. And they care more about their money than total equality and wealth distribution and happiness for everyone, right? They care way more about that. So they talked Nikola Tesla into selling them his patents and so on, and or they actually raided his. I don't exactly know how the story goes, but I heard they raided his laboratory. They stole everything. They destroyed everything. And then he was able to recreate the entire thing again a second time at another location, because he didn't even need to write all of these things down. He had that in his head. He was a mega genius, and he recreated it, and then they destroyed it again, and they created a law where he was not allowed to do it, or he would go to prison, and they literally starved him to death. These people, this mega genius. This is infinitely sad, okay? But, I don't know about this cosmic outer galactic way of generating electricity. I don't know anything about it. I'm not a mega genius. For me personally, it feels a little bit freaky, a little bit scary. I don't know what that might do. So to the animals, or how that can interfere with our brain electricity also, because our brain and body runs on electricity. Most people don't even know that. That's a different form, of course. There are fluids involved, but there are action potentials. There is real electricity happening that runs through the neurons, just in a different way as it runs through the electric cords. But that this is all electricity, and it also has to do with magnetism. It has to do with gravity. So it has to do with quantum physics. It has to do with subatomic particles and subatomic chemistry and all of that. And I don't know, inventing something like this of that magnitude, how that might interfere with our brain circuitry and so on. So I personally, that's just my personal belief, and coming from my responsible mind state as the mother of all living beings, I like that what has been proven to be safe, and that is solar energy, obviously. So now I still haven't talked about the subject that I wanted to talk about. So, oh my goodness, this is so sad that my brain is I'm so mega bubbly. My brain is so all over the place at all times. I guess that's also part of Asperger's. But all of this is important. But I want to get into the psychology of pedophilia, because I thought about this yesterday and also today. When I woke up, I thought about this. And I've talked about this before, and it's very crystal clear to me. It's genetic, but it is more complicated than this. I know that the human species is very damaged psychologically and also neurologically. And pedophilia is a phenomenon that is worldwide and that occurs in almost every household, but only a certain percentage of that comes to the surface, and then people will point their fingers and say, this pedo over there, he should be, a Christian would say that he should be head bolted, or he should be getting the death penalty. But he himself, who says that, may be doing something. And I'm not going to mention names now. I want to. There's a politician that was voted in, a lawyer. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to get into trouble with this, obviously. Because, obviously they have legal leverage, those people. But that guy, I saw him, he had his daughters on there, and on that day he was sworn into office. Okay. A lawyer sworn into an office that has to do with the law. I'm not going to say any more. Not president, not vice president, but something of serious leverage for the United States. Someone who could, for example, also save the wild horses, but he wouldn't, because I heard he's a hunter. And when I saw him on stage with his little daughters, he had particularly one of the daughters that acted very funny. And I recognize these things, I see that straight forward. It takes me one look and I'm like, oh my gosh. And that daughter was like 8 or so. And I could, 8 or 9, something like this at that time. And I saw, oh my gosh, he's doing that little girl, okay, behind closed doors. And ruining her life for the rest of her life. A pedophile, okay, and this is massive, massive, massive happening. And also just neurosis, massive, on a massive scale. So massively. And all of these neurotic things that parents do to their children, like, for example, a child would dress up for some costume party and play a dog, and the father comes in and makes fun of his son or daughter and ridicules that child, and there's an energy in those words, right? And that child is devastated. The child doesn't even know what's going on, really. So I'm not showing you. Not showing. Washing machine. Yes. Yeah, so what? Yeah, I'm not showing you. I'm not showing you. Yeah, well then hang it on the other one, on that one there. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Oh, what would we do without Paul entertaining us, with so serious subjects that are happening. So I'm not showing you. I'm not showing. Yes. Yes, hang it over there. Yes, it's alright, it's alright. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so people are many people, most families, whether they know it or not, most of them don't know it, they don't even realize it. They are damaging their children. Jiddu Krishnamurti talks about it. He says when a child comes to school at age 6, that child has already been damaged beyond repair, almost. Just because of society, He says you come into existence and everything is against you. The whole world. The world of humans, I'm not talking about the forests. I'm not talking about the animals. The world of humans, the human commerce, the human interaction, the societies, the hierarchies, professions, everything stands against you, damaging you, breaking you, ruining you psychologically. Okay, and that's a fact. Or a child will paint something, and say, Daddy, look, I painted flowers here. And Daddy comes in and he snubs that painting and he makes fun of that and he says, oh, look how those, they look like Donald Duck flowers. Donald Duck, something like this, what they will say. And the energy, the child picks up that, and the words may not even be that severe, but the child picks up on the energy, the ridicule energy, this mocking. My grandfather has mocked me from day one until I finally left and never saw him again. I went to LA. By the time I came back to Germany to study for 2 years, he was gone already. So, and I don't ever want to cross paths with this entity ever again. I wish him happiness and learning on his soul journey. I don't want him to suffer. If I did see him and he came back as a dog or pig, I would rescue him, of course, But no, I really don't. My grandfather and my mother, I don't want to cross paths with them again. At the Orion, another earth, at another dimension, in soul form, in physical form, in any form. Okay, so I wish them well. May they learn in their stagnator, or I'm not even going to call it stagnator anymore, because nothing stagnates, even the so-called stagnator soul. No, the beginner soul. I'm calling it that now. So I made a revision with this. The beginner soul, as my mother and my grandfather are. So I wish them learning and growing. Okay, but I don't want to see them again. I don't want to cross their path again. And there are many souls like this that I do not want to cross path with again. Okay, I don't want some cataclysmic in the physical experience that moves me fast onto another soul level. I don't want this. I want to grow to another soul level and take my time with this. So I don't want unimaginable torture experiences just so that my soul learns from it and I can move up to another soul level, become an angel soul or whatever, So no, I can wait with the angel soul level. It's not a rush, and it's not a rush for a beginner soul either. Okay, so to take on such dramatic things, and as Friedrich Nietzsche always said, so if he sees someone who has experienced unimaginable horror, then that person must not be a very good person. I had to laugh about this because one would always think, oh, that's the ultimate victim, and we need to hold the other cheek, and all of these things. No. Why give into victim mentality and hold the other cheek and give into them and create their learned helplessness experience and so on? No. People need to learn, not go into a learned helplessness. So everyone should be treated equally well. Every single being, every single entity, every single animal and human, no matter what your skin color is. You might be an extraterrestrial with blue skin or flower pattern skin, like these flower patterns. We need to treat them equally well, okay, and not say those are Donald Duck flowers or whatever, as some mean father would say. By saying that to a child, he's destroying that child. And guess what happens next? The child, and it's usually men, it's usually boys, usually men, that men experience even more humiliation by the fathers and more pressure from the fathers. Because the father extends his ego to his son and wants his son to impersonate, to personify that what his ego thinks is manly and is socially acceptable or gives him pride. The whole concept of pride needs to be dissolved, obviously. That all belongs to the past. It's all outdated. So what does he do to his son? His son, this is just an example for standing for the vast majority of men on this planet. The son grows up, does exactly the same thing to his son, to his children, or any child, or the children in the school he teaches, or whatever, or the workplace he works at. He humiliates women, he humiliates younger men. And guess what he does? He has buried his inner child because of that shame and the pride and the ego running his life. And because he has buried the inner child, because he has never even really been allowed to be a child, he sees a child. Let's say he sees let's not look any further than his own daughter. He sees his daughter play with Play-Doh, with colors. She makes an alien spaceship. She is bird-free. She is brain-free. She is thought-free. She is social, peer pressure-free. At this point, still, okay, maybe she's 4 years old, 5 years old. She's still a child. So far has not been damaged. That the son was the one who was taking the beating. But now he sees that child, the girl. His ego isn't trying to make her into that pride, the masculine pride entity as he wants his son to be, but now he's focusing his attention to his daughter. Why is he doing that? Because he likes vaginas, okay? Or the ones that like penises will do that to their boys. So they have a double trauma, but it doesn't matter, double or single trauma. Those are traumatic experiences, whether they're doubled over or not. Either one will destroy that person's life. But I mean, the more beating we take, the worse we're off, obviously. But he's focusing his attention now on the daughter. Okay, so now there is this marzipan pink baby girl playing with dolls or with puppets or with Play-Doh and with colors, creating something. And he sees that, and his inner child sees that too. His inner child's mouth is shut closed with duct tape, but his inner child sees that and thinks, that's really how I want to be. That's really how I wanted to be. That's really how I needed to be when I was a child. But they didn't allow it. They made me kill my inner child. Not kill, because you can't kill that inner child. That's still there, but it is shackled. It is disabled. It has been made disabled. It has been made non-functional. It doesn't have a voice anymore. Okay, but it's still there. It sees that daughter now. Okay, this is how that inner child, pre-puberty, where the gender is not predominantly running that brain, obviously, So that inner child, a neutral child, sees that other child. Okay, now that gets mixed up with sexuality, because now he has a sexual brain. He has hormones, he has testosterone, he wants the vagina, and he sees that child, and now that we have a dangerous combination here. There is that little marzipan baby doll child, living being, okay, not a doll, with feelings and nerves that can be damaged beyond repair for the rest of that living being's life. If people decide to molest her, okay, it caused me trouble breathing talking about this. So now we have the combination testosterone. He sees the little girl. He recognizes now that baby girl has a vagina. That baby girl is that what his inner child is craving. Now it's a combination now of inner child and testosterone gets mixed up into one entity, which the guy is. Okay, he doesn't even have a clue why he is sexually desiring his little girl. Has no clue, has no idea. So this is why, because his inner child has been damaged. He was not allowed to be an inner child. He sees his daughter, 4 years old, carefree, playing with all of these mediums like paint and cardboard and clay and and experiencing with this and growing and learning with that and being free, and he wants that, and then his nervous system and his ego translates that into wanting that being sexually because of his testosterone and so on. This is what's happening, and it is alarming, and it is scary. It makes the world suffer. It causes tremendous pain in this world. Tremendous pain. And when that happens to beginner souls, which most of them are, then that beginner soul did not come equipped into this lifetime with previous lifetimes' knowledge. That beginner soul is not going to ask any questions. That beginner soul is just confused and made crazy, and will most likely pass that on to another generation, or will become crazy or schizophrenic or violent, cluster B in most cases, ending up in prison, and so on and on and on and on. This is the dynamic of it. How do we heal this? We heal this through therapy help centers where everyone gets the chance to go into their own minds and heal this trauma. Okay. Peace and love.